Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today, in this video, we are once again looking at Operation Summer 2020, and now it's time to have a look at the ground vehicles, specifically the Devblogs, and also some extra information about the vehicles, which may be interesting to you if you're interested in their history. Before we get started into the ground vehicles, though, I do have an announcement. First of all, if you need any more information on Operation Summer, we are creating a room on the Tech Hub, so therefore it will have all the information there for you to be able to read. We'll also be creating some other stuff to make it easier for you guys to actually, basically just do the event, squad up and have a bit of fun. And we're also, every day of Operation Summer, going to be doing giveaways. These will be game giveaways, these may be pack giveaways, these may be many different giveaways, but we are going to do one a day every day of the Operation Summer. So if you're interested in giveaways, if you're interested in becoming part of the most active War Thunder community on Discord, make sure to click the Discord link below in the description or the pinned comment to this video. On top of this as well, I mentioned that there is an extra decal that you can get through the social media stuff. Well, it looks like it's turned up on VK. Now obviously VK is in Russian, so this is what you need to type in on your War Thunder thing. Basically what you do is you go to the War Thunder website, you go to the top, which you can't see here, but you go and to your account, there will be an activate code button on your account. Once you've logged in, click that and type in all caps, Summer 2020. That is S.U.M.M.E.R 2020. Activate the code, you will get yourself a nice exclusive decal from the social media platforms of War Thunder, so make sure to pick that up. Now, into the vehicles themselves. The first one is a pretty simple one. This is the IFV 73, or the Infanterikanonvagn 73, and this is incredibly similar to a vehicle that we already have in-game. The only real difference is actually losing some hull-mounted machine guns. If you don't know what this vehicle is, and if you haven't played the Swedish tech tree, you may not be familiar with the Strzwagen M42. The M42EH is specifically the one which this is closest to. Basically, the EH vehicles, or the EH modifications of the Strzwagen M42 are the ones which have the single Volvo A8B engines and also the Atlas diesel hydraulic gearbox, and they were made in 1944 to 1945. But what happened after World War II, especially in the 50s, is they decided to basically modernize a lot of these vehicles, and this is one of the efforts to modernize it. This is designed to modernize the EH vehicles into infantry support vehicles, so the IFV 73. They also modernized some of the other ones, some of the other vehicles which were around, into stuff like the Strzwagen 74, and also some of the turrets were actually reused as static gun pillboxes along the major coastlines. So if you want to compare this thing to the Strzwagen M42 that we have in game, which has access to stuff such as the 75mm M41, if we're honest, there ain't that much difference. They're pretty much the same, apart from this has a little bit less machine guns because it doesn't have the hull-mounted machine guns. It actually has a little bit more armor, I suppose, on the front of it. But I tell you what, if you compare them side by side with each other, you're really gonna struggle to see the difference between them. The other thing as well is the fact that the 75mm is actually pretty good, in the Swedish tech tree. As a person who grinded through rank 1, 2, and 3, it was nice to have the 75mm, especially before everything got APDS, because my god, those guns just didn't do any damage, but the 75 at least did. So it'll be nice to get this vehicle. Remember, it is also a premium vehicle, so this vehicle is going to be available with the premium bonuses, and you won't have to spade it either. Remember, it is also not coming in a coupon form, so this will be the only time you'll be able to get this, at least that we know of. You won't be able to buy it off the market afterwards, so if you want to get this, you'll basically have to grind it through the summer events, and it will set you back, 5 stars? So 5 stars overall for this machine. That pretty much means that that's 5 days out of 10 worth of grinding. It's not too bad, even though the tank ones are a little bit tougher than the other ones. Now, the big one, the big cheese, the big event vehicle that a lot of people are looking forward to is the Leopard C2A1 MEXAS. This is a new Leopard, which is going to be coming to the game, and it is just an event vehicle, so this does not get all of the premium bonuses that stuff such as the IFV-73 gets. This is much more like an M60A and BT in the way that it's going to be a high-tier event vehicle with a high BR. It's going to be rank 6, so it's going to be efficient at grinding rank 7, 6, and 5, and looking at the general use of this thing, and looking at what it's made out of, it's probably going to be pretty good. The way to look at it is, it's kind of a fat leopard, is the way that I personally look at it, because of this Mexus package that is on top of it. So, pretty much, if you don't know about the Leopard C2, which is this vehicle. It's a Canadian-born Leopard, and it's going into the German tech tree. Some people have made arguments for it being in the British tech tree because of its Canadian heritage, but you do have to remember that this vehicle, it's comprised, the chassis itself, or the hull I should say, is a Leopard 1A3's hull, then the turret is a Leopard 1A5's turret, and then the Mexus package is also made by a German company. So everything about this vehicle, apart from maybe the crew, is German. So, or at least the ammunition, I suppose, is NATO standard as well. So yeah, it's kind of hard to make the case that this should be in the British tree, apart from the fact of its Canadian, heritage. But it is how it is. It's nice to see another high-tier event vehicle for one of the major nations, I suppose. So yeah, we start off the story with the C1. The C1 was basically imported to Canada. It was just a bunch of Leopard 1A3s, basically. And then they wanted to improve its armor. They wanted to improve its survivability. So they wanted to bring it up to the C2 standard, which pretty much meant buying about 120 Leopard 1A5 tanks and fitting the turrets on top of the pre-existing tanks. So they just took all of their like Leopard 1A3 hulls and then plonked on 1A5 turrets. Now, what is kind of interesting about the 1A5 turret is it's kind of multi-dimensional. So the big thing about the Leopard 1A5 was the improvement of its FCS system. It got access to thermals, which was really nice, a really cool stabilization system. But the main thing about it is that it could actually fit the 105 or the 120mm gun. Which is just, it's kind of mind-boggling to think that you can just switch those different sides out. Now, for the Canadians on their C2s use the 105mm. So this machine will have the 105mm. It will have all of the standard NATO rounds, which you already see in the game, but it should have access to also thermals, which will be, really nice for it. And the Mexus package, the extra armor that you can see on the upper glacis, the turret, and all around the sides of the turret, and also the sides of the hull there as well, it should also be slightly on the lower glacis as well, if we can actually find a picture of it somewhere. Unfortunately, they don't really show it. But yeah, basically, you can see like the Mexus package, maybe from this view, is just kind of put on top of the vehicle, where you can see it on the sides there, you can see it on the top. But this package is very much like a lot of other packages that we see from other nations. It is completely, or maybe not completely, but 90% designed to deal with heat stuff, or to deal with stuff which, has HE. So if somebody's firing firing stuff like kinetic rounds at you, it probably won't do too much. It'll probably be very similar to a standard Leopard, but if someone is firing chemical rounds at you, such as heat or such as, HESH, it should actually be pretty effective. Obviously, the Mexus package was developed in the mid-90s, so we don't have actually concrete information on its composition and what it's made out of and how much of each material and all of that stuff. But the main thing you've got to understand is it was completely designed to defend this thing against infantry stuff, so RPGs, IEDs, and so on and so forth. So if you're talking about this going up against an MBT with APFSDS, the armor isn't really going to make too much of a difference. So what that ends up meaning, if you're actually in like a normal battle in War Thunder against another tank, you basically just got a chunky Leopard. So you've got a Leopard with the 105, with access to the thermals, and with access to this chunky armor set, which I think will be cool. The fact is, there are way over 50 Leopard variants that exist in the world, and it is nice to just kind of get another one, especially for Canadian representation. I know a lot of Canadian people who are very happy to see a Canadian vehicle be represented in the game, alongside stuff like the QF-RAM and the M4A5, but to have a high-tier vehicle of, German descent, but, used by the Canadians, I'm sure there's a lot of servicemen or service people who are very, very happy to see this thing. I'm definitely interested to see what the armor is going to be on that wedge, which is around the breech, and to see how effective that is. I feel like that could be an incredible bounce angle, but overall, it is just nice to see another Leopard. As always, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Ambrosius McClellan, B. Young, Battling Bacon, Blackie, Chris Giltnane, Conte Baraka, Daniel Stanton, Elove Goat, Jay Wilt, Martinez, Trigger Hippie, Universe A, Eugens Terry, and also A. I'm Devilish and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.